Hey everybody, welcome to You Have to Watch This podcast. I'm Alan.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Devin.
And today we are talking about the Nicolas Cage film where he plays Nicolas Cage in The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. So before we get into that, we like to start the show off with things that we watched over the past week. We don't have much to talk about this week, but we're going to spend some time on one thing in particular. But before we do that, Devin, you did something cool.
I did. Guys, I went to go see George Takei in his play on the West End in London. It's called Allegiance, and it is semi-autobiographical. It is about that time George Takei and his family lived in those concentration camps we made during World War II. So it was a super, really lighthearted topic. The cool thing about all of it, so the musical was awesome. I loved it. George Takei is amazing. Everybody in the play was amazing. The cool thing about it, though, is that it was around. So the theater was in the center of the place that you were, and the seats were on the outside of it. So in order to leave the stage, George Takei had to walk right past my seat. And the whole time I kept going, "Great job." Every time he walked past me, guys, I think he felt it.
I hope so. You didn't slip in. You didn't slip in a. Oh my!
I didn't, but I should have. Guys, it was so good. You should see it. I know that they filmed a version of it. They did a pro shot of it, and it's definitely worth the watch.
I've heard about this before from his Facebook page. He talked about it a lot when it was premiering, and he doesn't really talk about it much anymore. But I knew he was still doing it. That's really cool that you got to see that.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It's one of those like fun little perks of living in London where like occasionally a celebrity will blow through and they'll like do a thing. It's like, oh right, I can go see them and make weird like gestures at them from the side of the stage.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, but I remember, almost forgot about it. He did an interview with NPR that I heard the one day at work, where he talked about. I think they were in the process of creating the play, and he was.
Okay.
It was more about his experience living in the camps with his family than it was actually about what he was doing with the play.
I mean, that's fair because that's really like the big crux of it all. You know what I mean? Like that's the interesting bit, and it's an interesting piece of our history that like I don't think that we talk about enough. I know that I went with Romana, and I know that she didn't know that we even did that, like during World War II, which is we don't like to talk about it for very obvious reasons.
Yeah. We really don't.
Hooray.
Let's not talk about it.
Let's do the American thing and
Yes.
ignore it. Moving on.
Also, I want to anyone watching the video. Devin's a little bit delayed. He's on hotel Wi-Fi, so he looks like he's calling us from 2005. So, but we're gonna be talking about some more current stuff. So Devin's talking from us from the past, but we're talking about his future. So the main thing that I spent the last week doing is watching all of the Best Picture nominees for the Oscars. I got through all 10. And we each did our own ballots, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is how this is going to work. Do we want to place a bet before we go over these? Because I know what my tally is. What do we want the bet to be? Do we want it to be the same as last year where we get to pick a movie regardless of the rules of the show?
Yes, please. Yes, please. I love that.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. So a little bit of disclaimer before we get into this. There are 3 categories that we are not going to count because we left them blank. That is documentary feature, live action short, and documentary short. We're counting animated short because I think we all got it wrong because we all wanted a Year of Dicks to win. Or my Year of Dicks.
No, I picked a different one. I actually did pick a different one.
Well, Ryan and I both.
Yeah. I definitely did.
But we all picked for that one, so we're going to count that one. Make it an even 20. So right off the get-go, did you guys watch the Oscars, or did you just follow up after the fact?
Listen, I didn't even follow up. I have no idea who won any category because I've been traveling for work all week. This is as much of a surprise to me as it's going to be for everyone else.
Oh, so actually I have to pull up the actual winners for you?
I can pull them up if you don't know.
I can get them quick. because I have them here, but I don't trust my results as well.
While you're pulling it up, I do have to tell you about the hotel that I'm currently staying in. I know that they're doing a remake or thought about doing a remake for Clue. Guys, I'm 90% sure it's happening in this hotel. First
really?
off, this is my hotel key. This is my real hotel key to get into my room. I have never seen this before. Second off, I'm just like in someone else's bedroom. Like, this clearly isn't a hotel. Someone just left their bedroom for me to stay in tonight. I was told this was a hotel. It is a very strange place.
Well, I mean, you're also in Scotland, so I mean,
Totally fair. Totally fair.
yeah, there's always that. I did not watch them last night, but occasionally I would Google what the results were randomly. So, like, I would get, like, okay, well, so they did these categories. These were the winners. Now they're up to here. So that's how I was following along. I was kind of keeping tabs on what was happening.
Okay.
Okay.
I've got the list up, so
Perfect.
we'll just go through the order that they released them in,
Okay.
because I think that looks like this is the order of things here. Starting off with Best Animated Picture. So what we'll do is we'll talk about who the winner is, if we've seen it, and what we picked. So we'll go through that way, and then everyone should keep score of what we've gotten. So we'll be able to go through this all. All right. So it started off with Best Animated Picture, which went to Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio.
Nailed it.
Which is what I had.
Nope.
Ryan, what'd you pick?
Turning Red.
Okay.
When I wanted to win.
You have to understand, I filled out my ballot in like 5 minutes because Alan sent the link, and I was like, oh, great. I haven't really thought about any of this. And for stuff that I there were things I got reactions on, and I ignored those gut reactions and went with what I liked from the list instead of what I probably knew was going to win.
I did my best. I felt pretty confident going into most of these categories because I'd seen most of them.
Okay.
The few that I didn't know, I just didn't. We're not counting. But all right. So that's Animated Picture. Best Supporting Actor went to Hee Ki Kwan for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Did it.
Devin, did you have him down?
I did. I
Nice.
wanted him to win so bad.
Ryan, how about you?
So did I.
Same here.
Wow.
So
Three-way tie.
Goonies never say die.
Aw.
Best Supporting Actress went to Jamie Lee Curtis for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Got that one too.
All right. Devin's 3 for 3, as was I for the Oscars Sunday night.
Ryan, did you get this one?
No, I picked Hong Chow because I didn't want to just give like Everything Everywhere just all of my selections.
You didn't want to give
Like,
everything?
Yeah, like I didn't want to just go through it because it's one of those things like I never expect me to win these things. Like this is like someone handing to me this is like someone handing a non-sports person in the office a March Madness bracket.
Yeah.
So I just kind of went with, I was like, well, the whale, there's been a lot of good talk about it. I'll just go with an actress from that.
Jamie Lee Curtis had the sausage finger scene. She deserved to win this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So two categories we're not going to talk about, but we'll acknowledge the winners. Best Documentary Feature Film, Navalny, and Best Live Action Short, An Irish Goodbye.
Okay.
Best Cinematography went to All Quiet on the Western Front. I did not get this one. I had Elvis.
I did get this one.
Nice.
I had All Quiet on the Western Front.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Cool. Best Makeup and Hairstyling went to The Whale. I did not get that one.
Didn't.
It did.
Yeah.
I had Elvis.
I picked Elvis first, and then I erased it, and then I went with Black Panther because it's Marvel, and I figured Marvel would get something out of this.
That's what I figured, yeah. Nope, didn't get it.
No, they got the next category, which was Best Costume Design, which I had Babylon. no, I had Babylon 4, but then I changed it to Elvis because I felt bad voting for Babylon for anything. What'd you guys have
And
for
then-
costume design?
I had Elvis too.
I had Everything Everywhere All at Once because I really liked the main villain's costume changes.
Okay, that's a fair.
None of us
Yeah,
liked that one.
watching the montage of it, that one really stood out to my wife. So,
Yeah,
best international feature film, I had All Quiet on the Western Front,
me too.
which
Same
won.
here.
So we all
win?
won that. It won, yeah.
Yes.
Best documentary short went to The Elephant Whisperers, which we are not counting that category. Best animated short film, which we are counting, went to The Boy, the Mole, the Fox, and the Horse, and not
Darn it.
my year of dicks.
I did.
Such a
An ostrich
shame.
told me the world is fake, and I think I believe it because that's so good.
For production design, I had The Fablemans, but the winner was All Quiet on the Western Front.
I got that one.
I'm trying to find it on here real quick.
Devin, you might beat me this year.
Oh, amazing!
No,
Just like
I
All
had,
Quiet on the Western Front.
Yeah.
I had Elvis too.
All right. Best original score went to All Quiet on the Western Front. I had John Williams for The Fablemans.
Oh, I got All Quiet on the Western Front too because that like wah sound they kept using.
They kept using it during the Oscars too, and it was very weird.
They Ooh.
Yeah. Every time they won something, they would just play that. It was very off-putting. Best visual
trying-
effects
Huh?
went
Find
to Avatar: The Way of the Water.
Of course it did.
I had Top Gun: Maverick.
Oh, I got Avatar. Why else
I
do you
had-
make that film?
I had
Yeah.
Black Panther.
Okay. Devin, I think you're in the lead right now.
I am in the lead right now. I'm keeping tally for all of us.
Best original screenplay went to Everything Everywhere All at Once, which I had.
Nailed it.
Same
Yep.
here. Same here.
All right. Best adapted screenplay went to Women Talking.
No, nope. I got that one wrong.
I had Glass Onion.
I had All Quiet on the Western Front.
Best adaptive screenplay.
I will say
This
I
sucks
watched.
when you're dyslexic and you're just
Yeah.
mind just doesn't like. This is I hate this right now.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I had Glass Onion too.
I will say I watched Women Talking. That was like one of the last movies I got to watch because they waited until the last second to put it out to rent. It's a strong film, but my 1 sentence review is it's the most accurately titled movie I've ever seen in my life. Not to take away from the content of the film, it's just a lot of talking
Fair.
and not much else. All right, so best sound went to Top Gun: Maverick.
That one. Did
yeah,
get that
I
one.
had it. I had that one.
Which one did you do, Alan?
What did I have? I had Elvis, I think. I did not get that one. All right. Best original song went to Natu Natu from RRR.
I was just talking to Ramona about this, and I said I want RRR to win, but there's no way anyone's gonna vote for a Bollywood song, so I voted for the Lady Gaga song, and I'm so wrong and couldn't be happier.
I voted for This Is a Life from Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I don't even remember that one.
Because I forgot that this song won, and I just realized I messed up my tally. So,
There we go.
all right. Next category is best editing, which went to. Where is it? Oh, editing went. I had Top Gun. It went to Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I had Top Gun too.
Got Everything Everywhere All at Once.
All right.
One deserves it.
Best director went to the Daniels for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
I missed out on that one.
Got that
I ha-
one. Did you guys get that?
I did
No.
not. Of the first row of things on the ballot, that's the one I did not get. I had Spielberg down for The Fablemans. I thought they were going to do
Wow.
that kind of thing. All right, now we're wrapping it up here with the last three. Best lead actor went to Brendan Fraser for The Whale,
Got it.
which I had.
I missed out on that one.
Who'd you
Who
have?
did you vote for?
Colin Farrell.
Yeah.
Because see, like I was trying to balance out, like, because I was. This is my problem with these awards and like trying to pick, is because I'm thinking that they're going to pull from like all of the top movies of the year. Each movie is going to win something, and I know that that's not how this happens. That's never how this happens. But that's where my mind went anyway.
Makes sense though.
So
Yeah.
and I liked his character. I was like, yeah, it was,
Yeah.
you know.
Real quick side note: they brought Jenny, the donkey, out on stage.
Yeah, I love it.
That
makes me happy.
Best lead actress went to Michelle Yeoh for Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Had that
Ellie.
one.
It's the only one I saw.
And then Best Picture went to Devin. Do you know?
Oh, I voted for Fabelmans because I'm a cynical jerk.
Ooh. Ryan, do you know what won Best Picture?
Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Get it? Oh,
Yep.
Which I
Everything
picked.
Everywhere. Me too.
Oh, and yeah. And then Devin, since you said you were writing this down, I couldn't find where original score was on the sheet, so I couldn't give you mine. I had all quiet on the rest in front on that one.
All right. So Devin, what is the tally for everyone since you kept score?
I have 14.
Okay.
Mine has 9. I have you at 8, Alan.
You have me at 8. I have me at 9.
Bet you're at 9. I bet you I missed one in there. So you and Ryan are tied.
Yeah, I have me at 9.
I bet you're at 9 then.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't matter that we tied. You won, Devin, by a landslide. Which
So
you did not
happy.
know until we went into this. So that's fun. Jerk. All right. So Devin now gets a wild card and gets to pick any movie he wants for us to watch. You can use that on your next pick. You can use it a few picks down the line. That's completely up to you. But yeah. Congratulations,
Just you wait.
Devin.
I'm so excited.
Would you like to
Thank
make
you.
Would you like to make a speech?
I just want to thank all the little people that made this possible. Alan for sending this on. Ryan for doing worse than me. And also Alan for doing worse than me.
Keep my name out of your mouth.
Oh man, there were so many jokes about the slap.
Really?
There were. Jimmy Kimmel did a great job hosting. One of my favorite jokes was before they did the feature documentary award, which is where the slap happened last year. He says, "This is where the slap happened last year. Hopefully this goes off without a hitch and without hitch."
It's actually really good.
Speaking of, I saw the Chris Rock stand up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, it was good. It was really, really good.
My
You address it?
Yeah, oh yeah, he did.
Oh, yeah.
He addressed it, and I highly recommend watching his stand up.
I highly recommend Jimmy Kimmel's monologue because he had some very funny jokes. One of my favorite was talking about, he just laid into Tom Cruise and Jim Cameron for not going to the Oscars after they're the ones like, hey, go back to the movies. And then they don't go to the theater for the Oscars. But my favorite Tom Cruise joke he made was he's talking about the shirtless scene where they play football in Top Gun. And he's like, Tom Cruise looked great. L. Ron, hubba hubba.
It's actually really good.
Yeah. A lot of jokes that I think you'd appreciate. But yeah, that's about it for the Oscars. Looking forward to next year where Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves is nominated for everything. Because if it follows the same pattern as Everything Everywhere for being debuted at South by Southwest, it could happen.
Oh, wow. I mean,
So,
maybe.
yeah, probably not. Let's be honest. But let's get into today's main topic. The Nicolas Cage film, The Massive Weight The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. This film stars Nicolas Cage as Nicolas Cage, Pedro Pascal, Tiffany Haddish, and Ike Barinholtz. This is the movie that was a meme before it even came out. Everyone was like, "Oh, Nicolas Cage is going to play Nicolas Cage in a movie. That sounds crazy. I'm in." And then I was the only one who actually went to go see it out of the three of us. So I saw this last year when it debuted in April, just about a year ago. Really enjoyed the film. Thought it was a lot of fun. But I've been seeing a lot of it online because of the Mama Cost meme that has come out of it on TikTok, which we recreated on our own accounts. So go check that out on our TikTok and Instagram. But yeah, so I saw this a year ago. Really enjoyed the film. Thought it was a lot of fun. I'm curious to hear what you guys thought of The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
So this is a movie that I had wanted to see since I learned about it, and I just didn't for no reason at all, which I am now kicking myself for. I loved this movie. I loved everything about this movie. It had me laughing out loud more than any other movie has in a long time. I'm just going to talk how much I like it. I think the only disappointing thing for me was that that scene wasn't set to Mama Cass Elliot in the movie. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I kind of thought it was from the meme, but it makes it works better, I think, with that song. But Ryan, what did you think?
The meme scene disappointed me, but we'll get into that.
Okay.
Stirriness later. I mean, it was good. I enjoyed it. It was pretty much what I expected it to be. I like Nicolas Cage. Do I like him enough that I love the idea of a Nicolas Cage movie of him playing Nicolas Cage? Yes, I love that idea. But then I don't really have any urge to wanting to see that on my own, which is why I saw it for this since it was picked. But it was good. I mean, I enjoyed it. It was funny. There are some choices they made that they definitely made a choice, and no.
Yeah.
Wonder why, because this movie was all tens for me. There wasn't a single bad part of it.
Well, I'm not you, Devin.
Watching it again, I have some issues with it, but we'll get into that. But was there anything in this movie that caught you both off guard?
Sorry, Paddington 2.
Okay. Oh, you want to get right into that? Okay.
Still laughing about Paddington 2. I've never seen it. I need to watch it. So funny.
I mean, maybe that's your pick for your Oscar win.
Yeah.
Okay.
The surprise for me has to be, without a doubt, Nicolas Cage talking with his ego.
with
was
Nicky
not
Cage?
Expecting that. What?
With Nicky Cage?
Nicky.
Yeah.
Nicky. Hang, his son?
No, they in the movie he calls himself Nicky when he's talking to the younger version of himself.
Oh, okay. I was not expecting that. That's something that I love about this movie, is the fact that he went all in and played the comical stereotype of himself as his ego. I love the fact that he did that. It shows so much of who he actually is as a person, and the fact that he'd be okay doing that.
So, fun fact about when I saw this movie in theaters. I was late. First time in years I've been late for a movie. I walk in, and it's just Nick Cage talking to a younger version of himself in a car. I'm like, okay, I'm in. Let's just go with it. Completely missed the whole kidnapping at the beginning of the movie where they're watching Con Air. Just picked it up right there in the car. It's like, okay, let's do this.
You guys, I keep laughing when you guys are mentioning these things because I keep remembering little bits from this movie that I forgot about and then just lovingly re-remembered. I think my only thing with young Nick Cage was the visual effect around him a bit dodgy, because it seemed a little dodgy to me sometimes.
I went back and showed Kristen the scene with him in the car, and that's when I noticed like whatever de-aging they did to his face
Mhm.
showed up when I watched it again,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and I could see it.
So I own this on DVD. So I watched this on my HDTV on DVD, so the quality wasn't as great. Looked fine there. Like,
Good.
I mean, there's always going to be that uncanny valley, especially when you have the person right next to them. I think that the highest mark of that is going to be with Harrison Ford and Indiana Jones in 3 months. It comes out in June.
Wow.
Yeah. So I think they've done a good job of de-aging him for that. But yeah, that always looks a little bit weird. I think they do a good job with it for this one, considering this is a little bit of a lower budget than some of the Marvel movies that have made that technique known.
It was definitely a lot better too than the commercial with LeBron James. 100% better than that. So I mean, it wasn't horrible.
Yeah.
Didn't see that commercial. Thanks for.
It
I'll
was
have
a Super
something
Bowl
fun to
commercial.
look up on it. I'll have to look that up then.
All right. So we talked a lot about Nicolas Cage in this so far. I want to talk a bit about Pedro Pascal, who breaks his typecast. He is not responsible for saving a magic child in this. How do you guys feel about that?
He's like one of the better parts of the movie for me. I love, love, love their bromance so much in this. I think they're such a cute couple. And I want to see those two in more movies because their on screen chemistry is just perfect.
I would go as far as to categorize this movie as a romantic comedy.
I think
I
you
could see that. Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Because at the heart of the story, it's their friendship, and I think that's what makes the movie so enjoyable. Because I was not expecting that.
Yeah, yeah. That I was. It was good. I just didn't like. This movie kind of went a direction, and it kind of like swayed me a little bit from what I was expecting. I really like the storyline in that regard, and because I was always waiting for something bad to happen. Like I was always waiting for the the trouble to boil up and then separate their like friendship and then never being able to like reconcile because they're total enemies at that point. I was waiting for that to happen the entire time. But looking back on it, I would like one of my favorite moments is the lead up to going into like the Nicolas Cage shrine.
Yeah.
Is like one of my favorite moments between the two of them.
Were you expecting the bad thing to happen like at that point?
I had no idea. I was just expecting at every turn something to turn it into an action movie.
I mean, you did get that eventually. Were you disappointed that
it was one of those things where like because of how the movie started, I was like, "Oh, okay, it's going to be this type of movie." And then it just kind of like dragged its heels. It granted not a bad dragged its heels, just from what I was expecting. Dragged its heels, got like 20 minutes to the end, and then I got it.
Yeah, the film does a little bit of a bait and switch where they set Pedro Pascal's character up to be this crime lord, and they do a very good job of convincing you of that. But then there's a bait and switch where it's not him, it's his cousin. Which I think the film does a very good job of, because in any other comedy like this, that would be the case. And I'm glad that they don't go that route, because it made it more enjoyable for me. Because if he had ended up being the bad guy, I'd be like, okay, like this isn't anything new. But they kept his character pure of heart, and I enjoyed that, because you build up this great friendship between the two of them, and it just makes the moment where they have to turn on each other so much more enjoyable because they neither of them want to do it. Like it's more entertaining to watch than if it had gone the way they were setting it up to go.
Yeah, and that's and I love the fact that they did that because of the joke towards the beginning where when Cage is confronted about, his background, about this other guy's background, um he goes, "Oh, so a trained actor is better than 5 years of CIA like
It's because of his what,
investigation."
romantic acting style or something, and
Yeah.
that's the payoff to the joke is that he was right more than the CIA was. It's
Yeah.
so good.
Yeah, and another part that had me laughing, and it wasn't meant to be a joke, but I took it as one because I put the punchline in my head. When I forget which, I think it was the woman agent. They're talking about why it's bad for the other person to be elected president, and she says something to the effect, if this goes through, then there's going to be a president in charge that's good for the cartel, and obviously we don't want that to happen. And I kind of put my head down. I'm like, unless it's in South America.
Oh,
Yeah.
too soon. Too soon.
No, it's not.
Thank you, Ryan, for getting us all on the FBI's list.
I'm already on there, so
Yeah.
congratulations.
So there are a lot of references in this to other Nick Cage movies. What stood out to you the most? What is your favorite Nick Cage reference in this?
Yeah, no, it was at the end. It was at the very end when he's talking about his line, "Not the bees, not the bees," and he was like, "I thought it could have been scorpions, but someone said tarantulas." And like, I don't know, I just love that line, and I love the Wicker Man, and that was just so perfect. Where he's like workshopping like what animal they put on his head. So good.
Oh, I totally didn't even catch that, and I hate it now that I do. And on his head, it was for his belt buckle.
In Wicker Man?
No, the scene in the movie, they're talking about animals for his belt buckle.
But I thought it was the Wicker Man reference is why they had the bees on it.
Oh, yes, it's the reference for the Wicker Man. But okay, never mind. My mind is somewhere else, and yours is somewhere else, and we're not going to
No
connect.
worries.
So I'm just going to mine is, it's, to be perfectly honest, I was watching the movie, taking everything in. I really didn't connect any like lines or jokes the way that Devin did. Mine was just occasionally he'd be watching one of his movies,
Okay.
and I really liked that aspect of it.
The scene where he goes into the shrine to himself and just looks at the statue of his character from Face Off gets me every time. Like, how much did you pay for this? $6,000. I'll give you 20 grand for it. Like,
After he calls it hideous.
Yeah.
Hold on. Is the pillow in that room? Is that pillow also a reference to Face Off? 'Cause I saw him like do this.
I think
with the
it
pillow
is.
to change it.
because
Such
it
a
turned
cool pillow.
it turns red. I think it's a face. It might be another one of his horror movies that he's done recently. But no, that one was my favorite. The one thing that falls flat for me in this movie is the FBI storyline, because they're there, and then at a certain point the movie doesn't know where to go with them, so they just kind of die. Which is a weird choice. And I'm wondering if maybe in post they realized the heart of the movie is these two guys. Let's just wrap this up, because I feel like if you're going to get Tiffany Haddish and Ike Barinholtz, you're going to give them a little bit more to do than what they have. History of the World Part 2 is Ike Barinholtz. Yeah, so like that whole thing, like towards, like I get why you have to have it there for the first act, but by the time you're getting into the end of the second act and into the third, like their storyline just there was no payoff for it except for they died. So
And they were such good characters too. Like I loved the pull of like, oh, I loved you in Crudes too. And then they were like, have you seen Crudes too? Like
I'm a grown man. Why would I have seen Crudes too?
I'm a 44-year-old.
Yeah.
Why would I have seen it?
what I mean, what good like acting. I don't know. I do agree that it sucks they didn't pay them off better.
See, I didn't. I see. Okay, so coming from a point of view of not recognizing those two actors. Well, I mean, not recognizing those two actors to where like I know where they're from. Like they were familiar, but that was it. I thought it was fine. Like
Yeah.
they're there. You've got the CIA doing international stuff the way that they do it, and to be honest, they kind of suck in Nicolas Cage into doing something he doesn't really want to do to begin with. So in my mind, it's kind of like, well, they kind of got their end of things dragging a civilian into something that they shouldn't have dragged a civilian into. So that's how I took it.
It's just such a serious ending for these two very funny characters. I think that was the part that made me the most sad, where I was just like, oh, they're just dead now. Okay.
Yeah.
Government
Like it would have been funny if they went out on like a Crudes 2 joke.
Seriously, Ryan. Like
What?
You're putting us on hit lists now.
They're
Like,
characters in a movie. I mean, obviously, I don't want anything bad to happen to agents of any country out in the field. That would be horrible for me as a person. But in a movie like this, their characters did something they shouldn't have done. So movie world and rules wise, they need to pay for it. They paid for it.
Can't wait to take that front bit and put that in the very beginning of this episode as our disclaimer to all of the rest of the episode. Like, hold on, guys.
I just cut it out, and that's the only place it lives. So, how did you guys feel about Nicolas Cage's performance as Nick Cage?
It came across as very oh great. I was just watching an episode of it today. BoJack Horseman. I was getting a lot of BoJack Horseman vibes from his character in this,
Okay.
particularly when it came to like because he definitely played a like Hollywood actor that has like done that was very very popular at one time, has name recognition, but feels like they haven't done anything recently to live up to what they have done in the past, and so they're practically ruining their lives trying to find the next big role.
Okay. Devin, how about you?
It's a really good way to put it. I don't know if I can top that. I mean,
You don't have to.
Yeah, I'm going to try, Ryan. That's what I do. No, I really enjoyed him as himself. Just it was a fun role to see him in, and it was fun to see him in this place. I think my favorite like nuanced bit of it was his relationship with his daughter. And him like, you have to love this very specific, very weird film for this reason that I've already come up with for you. It's such a cool like character thing.
Fun fact about Nicolas Cage: he does not have a daughter. He has two sons.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And one is a really big metalhead.
Which one? Do you know the name?
I do not know his name, but if I remember correctly on the article I read a few weeks ago, he's in a band, and it's like death metal, like black metal, death metal. And Nick Cage himself is a big metalhead.
Hope it's Kal-El.
I hope it is Kal-El too. I was going to say his sons' name are Weston and Kal-El, after
Amazing.
Superman. Even spelled the same way. Yeah, he's definitely playing a caricature of himself. Neil Patrick Harris said when he saw Nicolas Cage on set, he had his body paint put on to cover up a lot of his tattoos, and he asked him why Nicolas Cage doesn't have, like, the character doesn't have as many tattoos as the character, and Nicolas Cage says Cage the character didn't have as many wives as him. So
how many did he have?
He had a few. There's a reason why he was actually broke at one point. Um, so originally Nicolas Cage wasn't going to play Nicolas Cage in this. He wanted to play the role of Javi. So how weird would it be if Nicolas Cage played a Javi and Pedro Pascal played Nicolas Cage?
See, that to me seems... now that would be hysterical. Them switching characters, but Nick Cage still playing the younger version of himself.
Oh, weird.
Yeah, that'd be weird. So the only reason he decided to play himself is because they cast Pedro Pascal as Javi, and he's like, "Okay, I'll do it. I'll do it with him. He's the Mandalorian."
I love that.
Yeah.
Is this hot on Mandalorian fame? Is that like what? Is this where Pedro Pascal is in his career at this point?
Yes, this was last year, so this is right around the time the Mandalorian showed back up in Book of Boba Fett. So
wow.
Spoilers for Book of Boba Fett. There are 2 episodes of The Mandalorian in there. Yeah, so this is right before Pedro Pascal became big again with The Last of Us and hosting SNL, where he had like every sketch that he was in became a meme instantly. This became a meme around the same time. The internet loves Pedro Pascal. There was a joke at the Oscars because he was there to present, and Jimmy Kimmel did a whole thing where he's like, if you want to come up on the stage and attack someone, you have to go through, and he listed all these characters. Like, you have to go through Michelle Yeoh, you have to go through Michael B. Jordan, so you have to go through Apollo Creed or Adonis Creed. You have to go through Spider-Man, and they cut to Andrew Garfield being like, and then like you got to go through the Mandalorian, and then Pedro Pascal just goes to the camera, and I'm like, I'm gonna see that on the internet now, like for the rest of the year. Like that's just gonna be. I mean, I'm gonna probably post it reactions to stuff, but so yeah, Pedro Pascal has definitely become a meme. Even outside of this movie, like the internet loves him.
And it feels like it's like for good, wholesome reasons too. Like it doesn't feel like this is like making fun of him or like a weird, creepy thing. And I think that's what I like the best about it.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a favorite Pedro Pascal meme?
I mean, so far it's the one that's popular right now.
Okay.
The car one.
Yeah, the car one. Because at the moment, my favorite meme is the mashup between what they're doing in the car in this movie and the Super Mario Kart.
Okay.
I love that one.
He has a laughing and then crying meme that I really like. He's in like a t-shirt in it. I really like that one.
I like the people that are taking the clips of him in The Mandalorian where he has his helmet off and putting in the SNL sketch where he wakes up from a coma and is like, "Can I speak Spanish?" Like they just put that video on his face. Which every sketch I've seen of him like was phenomenal. He did a really good job hosting SNL. But my favorite like post about him was Sarah Michelle Gellar posted a screenshot of when he was on Buffy with her, with the caption that just said, "When Mommy met Daddy."
I love that.
Yeah. So there's a lot. So Pedro Pascal is a genuine fan of Nicolas Cage in real life. And I think that shows in his performance. But they spend a lot of the time talking about movies in general, so it kind of ties into the Oscars talk this week. But there's one question that's brought up in the movie that I asked you guys to have prepared for the show tonight. What are your top 3 movies of all time? I know it's a hard question to answer depending on the seasons.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No. You can continue because I was going to start my answer by that speech.
Go for it. Go for it. Go for it.
What is it?
I don't know the speech, but I'm just going to whatever. Nick Cage talks about how like it depends on the mood, it depends on the season. Your favorite movie can change depending on how you feel, like that whole thing. And to be honest, I was like, I'm just going to embrace that. What are my 3 favorite movies right now?
Yeah.
And I grabbed them. So, in no particular order, we have The Twister, one of my favorite
Solid
go-to summer
choice.
films. Bull Durham, again, one of my I love baseball. I love baseball movies. This is the best one as far as I'm concerned. And then a movie that I'm waiting for some of the streaming services to pick up. They really need to, because I'm getting mad every month that they don't. The Abyss Special Edition. As far as I'm concerned, this is James Cameron's best work. The Special Edition.
I think you're going to be waiting a while for The Abyss in any 4K because of rights. Like they're never gonna like. It's one that's really hard to get on Blu-ray.
Yeah, so that's why this here is the DVD special edition that I got. Like 16 years ago, 17 years ago. About once a month, I check to see if I can find it on Blu-ray or if it's going to be on any streaming services. The special edition, because Amazon has the theatrical cut, but to be honest, the theatrical cut sucks compared to the special edition.
I think this goes back to Too Many Ex-Wives. I think that's what James Cameron is holding that up.
There's that. So Devin, if you ever find yourself over in the States and we can line it up, I want you guys over for a viewing of this, because this is the one movie I've been waiting to try to get on the show, and
Scheduling it for next time I'm in town. Then this has to happen.
Yeah, forget Chad's wedding. We're gonna watch The Abyss.
No, dude, Chad, they're joking. Don't worry about it. I wouldn't put this movie above your wedding. Lying.
Devin, how about you?
In almost no particular order, it's going to be Jurassic Park #1,
Okay.
Back to the Future #1, and The Great Escape. Those are my top 3.
Okay.
And I would watch them anytime, any day, all the time. I love them.
Paddington 2. Paddington 2. Paddington 2. No.
Sure.
I'm going with the ones that I have, like, I collect movie posters, obviously, because I have the one for this movie behind me, which I'll post a picture of myself with after this on our social media, so check us out there. There are some that I have that I'm just like, yes, I want to look at that every day. The one that I took down for this, Spider-Man 2, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
The Prestige is one with Hugh Jackman and Christian Bale. And then the last one, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
It's a good one.
That's solid.
Like
That's
I need to get that poster, but that's just the one that I'm always like, you should check this out. Or you have to watch this.
I see what you did there.
So yeah, those are my 3. I do feel like we need to do Paddington 2 at some point, because I've only heard great things about it. And I'm not saying that I've only heard good things. I've only heard great things about Paddington 2. Which is weird.
But I feel like we have to do a double feature, right? Like, do you have to do Paddington 1 to do Paddington 2? Or, like, is the fact that he's a bear and you're good enough to go into Paddington 2?
We can do it as an experiment.
Ooh, I like that.
One of us can watch both of them. One of us could watch the second one only.
I'll have to watch both of them. I feel like I owe it to the both of you.
Yeah. Anything else on Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent we want to cover?
The only thing that I mentioned before that we didn't really touch on was the actual meme from this movie. I was actually kind of disappointed about how it developed, because I had this idea in my head about like the music in the background, and like I had this idea that like Nicolas Cage was just told something that made him angry, and then he looks over at Adam, and the other guy is just so in bliss about whatever he just told Cage that he that that he doesn't care about Cage's reaction.
Yeah.
Because it was a very like almost like annoyed look on that Cage had, and it turns out they're tripping on LSD.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, no, I'm sorry, but that whole set, like, I have no problem with these characters in the movie taking LSD. Whatever, I don't care. I don't like the setup for that shot under that context. It makes no sense to me.
It makes perfect sense to me because I knew it beforehand.
I think it's a matter of the meme setting a weird precedent in your mind of like what this scene's going to be. Because I think
Yeah.
my biggest problem was I love that Mama Cass Elliot song so much. I listen to it in my free time. I listened to it on my way to work this morning. Like I was just very disappointed to see that it wasn't in there, but I still love like that face that Pedro Pascal gives just makes it so worth it.
Yeah.
Just what good acting.
I think that chunk of the movie is my favorite chunk of the movie because they go through all the stages of I assume of what a trip would be like because
I assume
there's the confusion in the meme, there's the paranoia, there's the hallucinations when they're trying to climb the wall.
No, I mean, all of that's great. I love the rest of it. It's just I pulled a Devin. Like, I had so much going for what I already had wrapped up in my head about that scene that when it actually came to fruition, I was extremely disappointed.
That's our first T-shirt. I pulled a Devin.
The Devin. Yep, there we go.
Yeah. Devin, you got anything else you want to talk about?
Really liked the meta narrative in this, where it was them making the movie, but also it was about what was happening right now. Nicolas Cage is like, I think it's about a kidnapping, and Pedro Pascal's like, well, of course it's not going to be about a kidnapping, and he's like, it's about a kidnapping, and now it needs to come to a head, and let's go write Act 3, as they were literally driving into Act 3 of the plot. I was like, good job, I like that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Clever.
I mean, moments like that, and also when he, when Pascal brings up all of the things that Cage has done in his movies, when Cage says he can't do something, he's like, "But you did all your stunt driving in Gone in 60 Seconds. Well, what do you mean you can't drive?" And he's like, "Oh, fine." And then he goes and he smashes a perfect classic Porsche. It made me so mad.
Don't do drugs and drive. That's
Very true.
Yeah.
Very true. Who thought that we were going to get 2 PSAs in this episode?
Yeah. Yeah, and a few restraining orders.
Fine, whatever.
That's all I have. This is a very fun movie. If you haven't watched it, check it out. Oh, I have one last question for you guys that I didn't prepare you for. So we have Nicolas Cage playing Nicolas Cage. What other actor would you like to see play themselves, a fictionalized version of themselves, in a movie?
That is a great question. Can they not be around anymore?
Sure.
You know, I would love to see Chris Farley play Chris Farley.
That'd be awesome.
I would love it. I would love it.
Ryan, how about you?
Just to make people mad, Jared Leto.
Oh boy.
I would not watch that.
Go with Idris Elba.
Who?
Idris Elba.
Who?
Heimdall from the guy that plays Heimdall in the Thor movies. Voices Knuckles in Sonic 2. Is a beautiful, beautiful man.
Fine. I'm sorry. I'll go with someone else. Fine. You've bent my arm. You know what? I'm just gonna go for the cop out. Denzel Washington. I'll just whatever.
I thought you were going to say Russell Crowe.
The Robin Hood and the Gladiator are pretty much that. I mean, that's who he is.
All the ones that are jumping to my mind have done it already. So it was like Bill Murray, but Zombieland, or David Harbour in Frankenstein's Monsters Frankenstein, which is fantastic if you've not seen that on Netflix.
Haven't.
It's a great 30-minute watch. Oh man, I should have had an answer prepared for this before I asked.
The Rock. The Rock's a cool one.
No, I am sick and tired of The Rock. Like
Are you over The Rock?
I'm over The Rock.
I
I'm
like
not.
The Rock still. No, I like him.
Yeah, no.
I will. I'm XFL baby.
I mean,
Promoting.
I can watch him in movies. I cannot stand any interviews with him anymore. He showed up at the Oscars, and I was like, ugh.
About the guy that played Ted Lasso. I feel like that would be a fun one.
Knowing a bit behind the scenes of his real life right now, no, I'm good.
Oh no.
Yeah. Nothing bad that he did. Like there's just drama there. I had one, and I lost it. Samuel L. Jackson.
Ooh.
Yeah.
It's a good choice.
I'd also say Eugene Levy, but Eugene Levy is just playing himself in anything.
Hold on. Have you seen the Apple TV travel thing with him in it?
I watched the first episode. It's fantastic.
So good.
I have yet to watch a show on Apple TV that I have not fallen in love with.
Yeah, I'm sorry it wasn't We Watched This, but I've been watching that too, and it's so good.
Yeah, I need to watch more of it. That show is phenomenal. Ted Lasso comes back tomorrow, so
Gotta catch up.
You do. All right, I think that does it for this week's episode. Ryan, next week is your pick. What do you have for us?
Green Room, from the director of Blue Ruin.
Okay.
We're gonna be doing Green Room.
Okay,
Perfect.
cool. All right, so you can tune in next Tuesday at Devin. Since we changed time zones, does 6 still work for you, or do we need to move it to 7?
6 is perfect for me. Absolutely, no problem.
Okay, because is it earlier than usual for you now?
It's earlier for me now.
All right. So tune in next week at 6:00, right here on YouTube, Facebook Live, and Twitch. You can also listen to our podcast on all major podcasting platforms the next day-ish, depending on if I can get the files edited in time. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, follow us on TikTok, because I might start doing more stuff there. Until next time, for You Have to Watch This podcast, I'm Alan.
I'm Ryan.
I'm Devin.
That's high praise.